Have you ever looked up at the night sky and just wondered about the stories that are hidden up there? Well, today we're diving into one of those stories, an ancient, powerful tale of transformation that is literally written in the stars.
It's a pretty wild question, right? But it's at the very core of this story. I mean, think about it. Can a moment of deep personal pain actually be the thing that launches you towards something eternal? Well, let's find out.
So, we're jumping back thousands of years to see how one young boy's incredible determination didn't just change his own life, but actually earned him a permanent spot in the cosmos.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off in the court of a king named Uttanapada, and for a little boy named Dhruva, this kingdom was really defined by one thing: a heartbreaking family dynamic. See, at the center of it all, you had two very different queens. On one side was Dhruva's mom, the kind and gentle Queen Suniti, and on the other, his stepmother, the proud, powerful, and, well, favorite Queen Suruchi. The king favored Suruchi, and that imbalance, right there, is what sets this entire story in motion.
All Dhruva wanted was something so simple, something any kid would want. He saw his stepbrother sitting on their dad's lap, and he just wanted to climb up there too. It was just an innocent, sweet moment.
But then, bam, Queen Suruchi, just filled with pride and jealousy, stops him with these unbelievably cruel words. Can you imagine hearing that as a little kid? It was more than just being told no, it was a complete rejection of his worth as a person.
And this is where things get really fascinating. It just goes to show you, right? Sometimes our deepest, most painful wounds are the very things that ignite our greatest journeys. That one moment of heartbreak sparked something in Dhruva that was just unstoppable.
So what do you do when your heart is completely shattered? You run to your mom, right? And that's exactly what Dhruva did. Crying, heartbroken, he ran straight to the one person he knew would understand, his mother, Queen Suniti.
Now, you'd think she would just comfort him, tell him it's okay, but she doesn't. She gives him some real talk. She tells him the hard truth that she can't fix this for him, and then points him towards a power way, way bigger than any king. She basically tells him to aim higher.
And her words, man, they just lit a fire in this little boy. This wasn't just a temper tantrum anymore. This was the beginning of an epic quest.
I mean, seriously, 5 years old. Let that sink in for a second. At an age when most kids are just playing, Dhruva, with his heart still burning from that insult, walked out of the palace, into the forest, all alone to go find God. Along the way, he even runs into the great sage Narada Muni, who kind of tests him. He gives him an easy way out, tells him, hey kid, go home, enjoy your childhood. But Dhruva, he wasn't having any of it. His focus was absolute. He had a purpose that nothing could shake.
So, after all this intense focus, this single-minded devotion out there in the forest, he finally gets what he was looking for, the climax of his search, a direct, face-to-face vision of Lord Vishnu.
And in that moment, in that divine presence, everything changed. It's like a switch flipped. He suddenly realized that the thing that had driven him so hard, the desire for a kingdom, for his father's lap, was like searching for worthless bits of broken glass. Because what he found instead was so much bigger, so much more real. He'd found a priceless jewel, a direct, personal connection with the divine. And compared to that, all those worldly desires just melted away.
So what happens now? What's the ultimate reward for that kind of incredible transformation? Well, Lord Vishnu was so pleased, he offered Dhruva something that went way beyond his original childish wish.
He was granted a kingdom on earth, sure, but he also got an eternal home up in the heavens, a special planet that would never be destroyed. We know it today as Dhruva Loka, or the pole star, that constant guiding light in our night sky.
And here's the real proof of how much he changed. When he finally did return and become king, he didn't rule with that same pride that once hurt him so badly. No way. He ruled with kindness, with fairness, with humility, because that spiritual journey had totally transformed his character.
So when you boil it all down, this is so much more than just a 5,000-year-old story. It's packed with wisdom that is just as relevant to us today as it was back then.
These takeaways are truly universal. The idea that suffering can point you to a higher purpose. That real determination doesn't care how old you are. That sincerity is way more powerful than status. That true devotion actually makes you humble, not arrogant. And maybe the biggest one of all, our deepest pain can become our greatest strength. That's powerful stuff. Which kind of leaves us with one last question to think about for ourselves. In our own lives, what's the broken glass we're all chasing? You know, the temporary stuff we pour all our energy into? And what if we aim just a little higher with that same sincerity? What priceless jewel might we discover along the way?